Hello and welcome in. I'm Greg Smith, Senior Recruiting Analyst for Inside Nebraska. I am joined by staff writer for Inside Nebraska, Steve Marik, and we are live from Big Ten Media Days here in Indianapolis. It's been a day.
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic.
Yeah,
It's my first Big Ten Media Days. First of all, Lucas Oil Stadium. It's gorgeous here. This field is awesome. It'd be awesome to watch a football game here, but yeah. Pretty eventful, I guess. Start to the media days with Nebraska kicking things off before the commissioner even talked.
Yeah, that kind of threw everything for a loop, right? We're not quite used to a team going ahead of the commissioner, but Nebraska did have to kind of get in and out to be able to get back for Fan Day, so they could see all of you that are going to be down at Memorial Stadium later on today, which feels like a world of way away with us being out here at Indy. But Nebraska's contingent that was here, Travis Vokalek, Garrett Nelson, Quentin Newsom, and obviously Scott Frost will make it back in time for Fan Day. So I guess we'll start here, though, with what the action that we did see, Steve. I guess what was the biggest takeaway you had from what you saw and heard today?
Yeah, so two things, really. The first thing, I think Casey Thompson, Scott came out and directly said Casey Thompson will be the quarterback that's taking the first snaps with the first team offense when they start fall camp, which is tomorrow, by the way, on Wednesday. So that's another thing they needed to get back to Lincoln for. But yeah, so that was a pretty big thing, I think, for Scott to actually come out and say that, yeah, Casey Thompson will probably be the quarterback that gets the first snaps. Then the second thing was just the dynamic between him and his first-year offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple from Pitt.
Yeah.
They were talking about, the play calling duties and how that's going to shape out. Scott didn't really say who was going to be calling the plays, but he did say that, he was sad that, the offense isn't going to be his baby basically now right. Because Whipple's coming in and he's, he's been around the block. He's got 40 plus years of coaching experience. He knows a thing or two about offense also. And so is this going to be completely Mark Whipple's offense at Nebraska? Is it going to be, is Scott going to be calling the plays? He didn't answer that, but I think it was really interesting just to hear him talk about, the dynamic. And he said that it was going to be a collaborative effort, which, kind of, going into this season, the narrative out there was, is Scott going to take a step back and be this more of a CEO type head coach where he's not just focused on one side of the ball. He's with the offense, he's with the defense, he's with the special teams, and he's doing other head coach type stuff like meeting with boosters and checking out the weight room and talking with the players and getting to know them more. So that was basically the two big things that kind of caught my ear today.
Yeah, I think that the storyline of I've termed it a couple of times already, both on social media and on our insider board, that Scott Frost threw cold water on the notion that he is eager, I guess, to step into that CEO role. He said explicitly he is not about to be a figurehead at Nebraska. He's going to have his hands in everything. And so I don't know. I think already the reaction that we're seeing is that the fan base is a little bit split on that, I would say. There is a camp that is saying, hey, I don't want him to go full CEO, but he does need to let the guys that he hired do the jobs that he hired them for, right? And I think that's more than fair. You don't make a guy, Mark Whipple, the highest paid offensive coordinator in the history of the program, to bring him here and then say, well, it's going to be a collaborative effort, and then we'll see, I guess, on who's calling the actual plays. And you and I were talking about this beforehand, really where the rubber meets the road is if it's 3rd and 3 in that Northwestern game in Ireland and there's a play to be made, who's going to make that call? Because before today, we would have all said, okay, Whipple's making that call because it's his offense that he's brought here to do. After today, I'm not so sure who's going to be making that call. And so that's going to be really interesting because I think that now a big storyline that's come to focus is Scott Frost going to be able to step back and relent a little bit of that control to allow these new voices to take shape and really put their stamp on the program to hopefully propel the team to better success. Like, I think that this has now become a huge storyline, either intentionally or not.
Yeah, I totally agree with that for sure. And one thing where my mind kind of wanders, and I don't know if it should take this direction, but what if Scott and Whipple are on the same page? They understand who is going to be calling the plays, And Scott's just going to come here to Big Ten Media Days and kind of put that out there, like, yeah, it's collaborative, and I'm not going to say who's going to be calling the plays,
right.
and just to make any Big Ten defenses listening to me right now not really like, no, that's maybe a tinfoil hat moment for me right now, but I just think Scott said that he wants to keep a lot of things close to the vest this season. It's a really important season for him in his 5th year. He needs to get off to a really good start. He has the schedule to do that through the first 6 games. It's a very winnable stretch there. But boy, there's a lot of questions on the offense right now, and it's just going to be really, really fun and interesting to watch to see how this offense progresses, who ends up winning the quarterback job, who's getting the bulk of the reps at running back, who the interior 3 offensive linemen are with the center and the two guards next to him.
Can Bryce Benhart hold down the right tackle? Can
Bryce Benhart is Donovan Raiola really making an impression and impact on Bryce Benhart, like Scott said? So it's a heck of a time right now, and I can't wait for actual football to start so we can stop talking about it and actually watch it.
We're in talking season, man.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I guess at the same time, I don't know that we're gonna know as much as we maybe hope to know through fall camp.
Yeah.
Because as you noted, Scott Frost did also say that he wants to keep that 2 deep and what's going to happen with who's playing where close to the vest as long as humanly possible.
I had a good chuckle when he said,
I think we saw that coming, right? That was something that we kind of knew was going to happen. And I think in this case, it makes some sense. Like in previous years, not putting up the depth chart and all of that stuff, it can irk a lot of people. I understand that. I think in this year, though, I think most people can understand. Listen, you've got 4 new offensive assistants, including the OC, and then the special teams coordinator and Bill Bush as well. You've got some sort of change in the offense, whether or not how wholesale change or not. You definitely have a new quarterback. We know that one way or the other. There's going to be a new quarterback, so you do want to keep something close to the best. And Scott Frost, I found it interesting that he noted that they're now in the position that Illinois was in to kick off the season last year. I don't know if you caught that, where he said, last year we were on the other side of this, where the mystery was on that side, harkening back, to Illinois coming out in a totally different game plan in a couple of different ways.
The old odd and even front.
I'm not sure he wanted to should have brought that one up, but it came up. But now Nebraska can use that to their advantage, right? Or its advantage moving forward. But we haven't talked at all about the players. The players I thought were very good. Vokalek, Newsom, and Garrett Nelson. And one of the things that struck me, and I've got a story up right now at Inside Nebraska, Nebraska.rivals.com, about Travis Vokalek stepping outside of his comfort zone to help to lead this team. It's fascinating to me that he's been in college football as long as he has. He's 24 years old. He said he's the oldest guy on the team. He's the grandpa of the team. He's seen a lot, but at the same time, he hasn't had to be that true leader because Austin Allen has been here the whole time that he's been here, right? And so now he's leaning on, still talking to Austin. He said Coach Beck challenged him to be more of a vocal leader, and he had that kind of aha moment early in spring ball where he's like, man, I'm a veteran guy. These guys will listen to me. So I thought that was interesting, along with the fact that he said that in the player-led things that have happened this offseason, the guys are holding each other more accountable and taking more active role in how they're going to progress this season. If a guy's running sprints and they're not touching the line, 4 or 5 guys are stopping the drill now and saying, no, we need to run that over again. I think that stuff's really important when it comes to taking accountability of getting the team over that hump, from being just the best 3-win team to now actually winning games and making it to a bowl.
On the other side of the ball on defense at the edge spot, Garrett Nelson was his typical confident, self, being a leader out there, saying all the right things like you would expect him to do. But he said that he really worked on his speed and explosiveness coming off that edge this year. So I'm really excited to see what he brings in 2022. I know after the spring game, I'm a big height weight guy, so he said that he, at 6'3", 6'4", he said that he kind of chiseled up and he's up to 250 pounds right now, and is just a solid block coming off the edge of Eric Shenander's defense right now. So and I think you were around when he said that somebody mentioned being Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and he said, why not me? That was awesome.
Talking about his goals for the season, I love that. I think that
Absolutely.
you need to have that sort of stuff to shoot for, and I think that he's a guy that, as we've seen his game progress, and it's become obviously a great story in person to follow with the team, and he does such a great job representing the team. But to see his play continue to match that and elevate, and he's going to be helped by a guy like with O'Shawn Mathis being on the other side and Caleb Tanner continuing to progress, that won't take away from those goals if he's able to reach them. It really, honestly, would only enhance them if he's able to see more one-on-one coverage. But sticking with the defense too, Quentin Newsome said something that really kind of interested me too. Is that you and I know that you're big on Quentin Newsome.
I'm a big Quentin Newsome fan.
Yeah, and he had a really good season last year. Kind of snubbed, I would say, on those watch lists this year. And he was asked about that and said, "Listen, yes, I took that to heart, but we also have to play better as a team to get on some of those watch lists and have that sort of recognition." And I thought that was the right answer to take. Yes, acknowledge. Yeah, I'm a little teed off about that. But we've got a lot more work to do, and we can't be worried about individual awards in the preseason kind of a situation. I like that.
Of course, Travis Fisher wants the best for his players, and he wants them to be recognized. But a little piece of Travis Fisher had to like that Quentin Newsome got snubbed just a little bit, to get that fire,
just to
because
not pump his head up too much.
Because
what
did Travis Fisher say during the spring about Quentin Newsome? The things that he needs to work on the most is just like getting that dog inside of him, getting it come out, lighting that fire, being more physical in the run game, which he was last year. He was like fourth or fifth, tied for fourth or fifth on the defense and tackles. So he did well sticking his nose in there as a new guy back there. But anything that you can do to put that chip on your shoulder and light a fire under you and play a little bit harder, by all means do it. And maybe Quentin Newsome being snubbed on some of these award watch lists, maybe that turns out to be a good thing for Quentin. But boy, at 6'1" and 180 pounds, Quentin Newsome is a long, athletic cornerback who can stick to some Big Ten receivers. And NFL scouts teams have to like the potential that he has. And at Nebraska, one of the better defensive back position coaches in Travis Fisher, you got to like where Quentin Newsome is headed and kind of taking over that number one corner spot that Cam Taylor-Britt held so well last year. So
yeah, absolutely. And now we're going to have a lot more coverage to come throughout the week as Nebraska. This is kind of the unofficial official mark of this beginning of football season, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's here now. Nebraska kicks off fall camp tomorrow. We'll have more coverage coming from Big Ten Media Days as well here on the YouTube channel and on the site nebraska.rivals.com.
One thing before we finish, and this is just kind of like not a serious thing. Behind me right there is the Iowa Hawkeye logo, and this whole video, Kirk Ferentz has been right in front of like the 50-yard line right in front of us. I've been looking at Kirk Ferentz this whole video, and I just thought it was all right. There was some sound right there from Big Ten Media Days here at Lucas Oil Stadium. But yeah, Greg, you can take us away now that I got my Kirk Ferentz tidbit out there.
That's all right. Kirk Ferentz is over there. We've got the Nebraska thing right here as well.
Yeah,
so we've made sure to have both. I moved, and Minnesota was in there as well. But that's going to do it for us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, tell a friend. We'll be back with more coverage at nebraska.rivals.com. We will catch you guys next time.